Ax, always in pretty good form. They're both in losers quite early, really. Ax losing to Fire, which up until earlier in the week was the official world record holder, so it's very possible that he'll lose to two different people who both held the world record, and then Pest losing to Trinomi in winners round 3, which was definitely an upset, but that sort of caliber runner, they're all within so much of each other that it really isn't surprising, and we're just making a start now. You won't expect to see much time difference, especially for the first few splits, just they're extremely consistent at this point, but there'll be small saves here and there, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple seconds difference. Ax traditionally has a really good early game. I think he has something like the first 6 golds on the community spreadsheet, but Pest also obviously pretty good considering he has the world record. Looking at their load times, we shouldn't have too much of a difference, but we'll be able to get a sync up going if they do get too far apart. Obviously, this game uses a loadless timer, so the timers will differ over the course of the 40-minute or so run, but it just factors out load times. That way, people with really fast computers aren't getting easy records, basically. Ax getting a 0-hit Gruzzer drop, and Pest doing the same. There's a fair bit of RNG early on, but if they get the same RNG or similar, it really doesn't matter too much. It'll come a lot more down to execution. Speaking of, they're going for a trick now called double spike kill, Ax missing it, and Pest getting it. Okay, so that's the first sort of difference we'll see. And this first split's pretty light. It's sort of just about movement and small optimizations until we get the Vengeful Spirit spell, and then Green Path's similar, just really movement heavy with 3 fireball skips and the Vengefly kill, and then past that we'll have Dash, which opens things up a bit. Ax actually getting hit there trying to do statue pogos. That'll just be another small difference. It looks like about 3 seconds now. Yep, 3 seconds. And coming up to the first boss, who we won't be seeing for very long. There shouldn't be much trouble here. They're both on 4 and 5 health respectively, and we're not really expecting to get hit. And Pest still in about a 3-second lead, but again that can change even just based on RNG. If the game's just deciding to be mean, can add 6-7 seconds, or it can save, or it could lose no time at all, sort of thing. So hopefully we get within 1 or 2 spits of each other. We don't have like a 7-spit difference. And just as a fun fact, the world record for boulder spits is 15. I don't advise anyone going for that record in a race, but you do you, it's a free world. And just to elaborate on something I said earlier, this is a loser's bracket match, so it means that the loser is going to be knocked out of the tournament, and the winner will face the winner of Geronomy and Homotherby. So it's probably a lot earlier than any of these players were expecting to get knocked out, so it's quite high stakes. We'd probably be expecting to see Pest in grand finals, so this would, Ax in grand finals, so this would be, you know, quite shocking for either of them to be knocked out this early on. And I wasn't paying attention to spits there, but based on time, I'd say that Ax got a hell of a lot more than Pest. 5, okay, and 1, so that's really feels bad if you're Ax, just that loses a lot of time by no fault of your own, basically. But Hollow Knight's not something you can just do RNG manipulation, so it really is just feels bad for Ax, and the lead's out to basically 10 seconds, or 10 seconds flat apparently. More like 8.5 now, and they're perfectly synced up as far as room position goes. It's just time difference, so we're coming up to green path now, obviously. The real things to look out for are the 3 fireball skips and then the Vengefly King quick kill. Both on 8 out of 9 soul here, you can be on as little as 6 for this bit, but having that bit more makes soul collection here for the next 2 fireball skips easier. And coming up to the second fireball skip, Ax gets it, and so does Pest, about what you'd expect, but still nice to see from everyone. And now coming up to the Moss Knight, which you can actually kill with a nail swing and 2 fireballs. You can get it to do a backdash, but that's still pretty new, so they're just doing what they're comfortable and consistent with, which is the 3 fireballs. And coming up to Vengefly quick kill now on Ax's screen. And we should see, ideally what you want to see is alternating nail swings and fireball hits like that, and he got really lucky with the Geo that all stayed on the top platform, not backtracking to try to collect more. And on the topic of Geo, you want to end up with 220 by the time you get to Salubra's Hut for Shaman Stone. You get 14 from, well, you spend 50 and then get 50 from Gru's Mother, and then the Little Gruzzers you get an additional 14, so you want to have 206. And for some reason, Ax has just stopped. And his timer's still going, so I'm not sure. Oh, something wrong on Pest's end. Right, Pest's restarting his PC, so where are we restarting? Yeah, I think we're just going to restart the race. So if you hang tight for 10 seconds, and we should be able to get back underway pretty soon. Right, so this is a pretty uncommon strategy, but it's actually optimal. What you do is you reset the timer and then start the whole race again. Saves about, it actually loses, sorry, about 6.5 minutes, but you overall end up with a lower time. So, it's something they go for, especially when you have Pest's PC, which is just slow as all hell. Maybe this is just a ploy to get Ax to stream for longer. I won't know, but Pest should be back any second now. Alright, and Pest is back. We should be underway pretty soon now. Obviously just deleting the save from what we'll just refuse to acknowledge as the first 6 minutes of a race, but you get to see all that exciting stuff all over again. I'm sure you won't see another 6 minutes of walking simulator. You're right, camera. Walking, jumping, sometimes swinging a nail simulator. Hopefully this time around we get slightly better boulder RNG, or at least, within 1 or 2 splits of each other. As much as it's nice them doing the sync up for us, it does lose a fair bit of time without it being under anyone's control, which, especially in a tight race, it's kind of feels bad. And Pest, I don't know what he's doing there, but okay. Don't know what's going on his end, but you really don't want to see that. So he's down 2 health already, and I assume probably about a second and a half. So 54.46 from Pest. Saying he wouldn't be happy with that is probably an understatement, but hopefully that's not a sign of things to come. God, it's like getting deja vu. Now coming up to Cruzzer drop again, and Ax getting hit once, and Pest getting hit once, so all evens out, I guess. But it's another time loss, and probably more importantly for Pest, another hit of damage. You don't really expect anyone to die or even have to heal here, but this definitely, narrows down the amount of mistakes you can make, but he should be fine. And he got double spike kill again, which is nice to see. now we're just going up to the false knight eventually. Again, there shouldn't really be much problem for this split, but there's already a slight time difference. Pest's actually made some time up, so it's about half a second now. And for the fourth time today, again, feels like we only did this 5-10 minutes ago, but I digress. Ax in chat, getting in the same spot, he's just trying to stay true to the first race. Not sure if the Elder Boulder will comply, but it'd be nice to see. And they're at basically exactly the same time now, so any mishaps in King's Pass or later on that we don't talk about are basically equivalent to nothing now, and the only real difference in timers now will come from the Elder Boulder spits, which are just coming up. As mentioned before, it's more about the difference between the two than how many you get, because while it could happen, I don't really see anyone getting world record in those. And Pest getting two boulders in a row, so again, not much time difference there. I'm assuming they got the same splits just based on timer, which is exactly what you want to see. So they're pretty synced up now. Of course, Ax having apparently slightly faster loads means that you know, he looks like he's about half a room ahead, but if you look at the timers, they're actually about exactly the same. And coming up to the second fireball skip now, and Ax getting it, and Pest getting it. Again, seems like we only saw this 6 minutes ago, which is really just a testament to their consistency as runners as well. They can probably quite literally do a lot of this with their eyes shut, and Ax getting the third fireball skip, and same goes for Pest. So we're about where we were before. Pest just going back to get that last hit of soul there. You want 8 out of 9 going into this room if you get that nail swing there, and then 3 fireballs is enough to kill him without worrying about his shield and all that fun stuff, so it's just a lot quicker and more consistent. And now Ax is coming up to Venge Viking. It really is deja vu, but now, Ax, what are you doing? and he gets the quick kill again. Really nice. Got basic, like all but one of the Geo. Pest having a bit more trouble, so this is what I mean, he has to backtrack a lot to get it. So that'll lose him probably to the order of 2 or 3 seconds. I'm sure someone other than me is paying a lot more attention, but it was 7:13 for Ax going into the Hornet room. This is another potential to gain or lose a couple of seconds, but shouldn't be too much difference. And that's 7:21, so about 7 seconds difference.
Drosik Halimo. Garama! Shaw!
And Ax getting kind of unlucky, Hornet jumping all over the place. That nail throw attack that Pest just got is the best damage per second wise, just because you can basically stand there and hit her. And Ax got the quit out at 7:58, and Pest looks like he'll be just a little bit behind that. $8:03. So he gained back a couple of the seconds that he lost there at Vengefly King. He lost about 6 or 7 there, which is really unfortunate, but you know, this is really early on, and literally just RNG could more than make up that difference with stuff like Umu and Watch Nights. But we're coming up to Mantis Claw now, which is another super movement heavy split. You'll see a few of these inventory drops, one of which Ax just missed, and then the long one here, which is basically, that's exactly how you do it. This split, there's only really 2 things to look out for, which is the explosion pogo and then the mantis skip. They both save a lot of time and are basically almost mandatory. The mantis skip you can go around, but it does lose something to the order of 20 seconds. And then the explosion pogo, each failed attempt loses 7 seconds, so you just keep trying till you get it, because going around loses about a minute. And for Geo, as I mentioned earlier, before resetting, you want 206 before you get to Salubra. Ax is already fine, he's got 214, and Pest is 1 off, but there's plenty of opportunities to get 1 more Geo. So they should both be absolutely fine. And the lead is now about 7 seconds for Ax, getting Explosion Pogo, and now coming up to the Mantis skip, and Pest getting Explosion Pogo, Ax with a really nice Mantis skip, and now Pest going up to Mantis skip. Oh, missing the lever, so we have to go back there. Now it's a slightly different setup, but he gets really nice backup. He'll lose some time there. Ax was, I think, 920 something, and now Pest is more like 940 on the quit out, so it's probably about 12-15 seconds, but again, that's not huge, but it is probably about what you expect. As I said earlier, Ax is just really, really good at early games, so you would sort of expect him to take the lead early on. But Pest, I'm sure, will have a few tricks up his sleeve, and hopefully all the practice with late game and losing runs there's paid off, and that won't happen today. And they're looking to get 6s sold before going to Cruise Mother. Just that lets you do a nail fireball, nail fireball, nail fireball, nail, 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 and that kills it really quick. And then you have enough salt left over to have 2 fireballs to try and kill the Gruzzers, which come out after she dies. You're probably going to lose more time on the cleanup here if a couple of them fly out of the fireballs, but Ax with a different Cruise Mother kill there, but a really nice backup for if she does fly that way. And he got all the Geo, which is good. Sometimes when she flies up, the geo can get stuck in the ceiling, and if you're really tight, lose the run basically. You got kind of unlucky with the brothers, 2 of them flying straight up in different directions, which is about the worst RNG you can hope for. Pest now coming to the cleanup, and 4 of them surviving that second fireball, just not going where he wanted. That's probably a bit more time loss, but again, he should be fine. And now we get Shaman Stone here, which I mentioned earlier, for 220 geo. Best charm in the game. It increases your spell's damage and hitbox, which is super important here. Hate to see it, Ax copying a death there. But for some reason, that's just a setup to make this enemy appear here, and you don't want him to be doing fireballs like that. But we do kill him because he reminds us of our failures, which of course we can't have. And apparently this is melee. Ax is just practicing his wave dashing in a race, so he must be feeling pretty confident. And Pest getting the shade skip, nice. Ax will have lost some time relative to Pest there because he got the fireball, but again, it's very small differences. Ax still with a slight lead. I think it's about 10 seconds, but like I said, Ax is the god of early game. Like I said, I think he has the community gold for like the first 8 splits or something ridiculous like that. And we're coming up to the first sort of real dangerous section. Oh, Ax unfortunately falling there. It actually saves 1 second just because it makes the seer appear faster. And so you've got these dream platforms, and then we have City, which is a lot about getting enough geo, and it's also a split where you can lose the run, especially to Watcher Knights for early sort of players that are just learning the route. They're without a doubt the biggest obstacle in this category. So you won't expect these players to die to them, but they can lose a lot of time, especially with a bad pattern. And the lead is about 14 seconds for Ax. And a nice little trick there called Seer Skip from Ax, which basically lets us leave that room without having to talk to the Seer, and you look funny when you drop down, which is of course the main benefit of doing it, not the time save. And Pest just getting Dream Nail as well. And I might just look into getting a sync up, just we're kind of coming up to the Watcher Knights and stuff, which is a pretty important section. And we'll just switch audio to Ax since he's in the lead. And saving at that bench there, just because if you don't, you respawn all the way back at the Salubra's hut, which means that you're basically soft-locked because you'll lose all that geo. And it's just a good sort of safe race strategy. and Pest just getting the seal as well, and then gorgeous husk here from Ax. Basically, you just want to be trying to get as many double hit fireballs as you can. We kill her for the Geo. I can't remember exactly how much it drops. Ax missing a couple there. And at Invisible, you can have basically 0 leaving Salubra, but you want, I think it's 1,322 after selling all the relics at Lem. There's a couple of different ways of routing Geo in City, so don't be too surprised if there's a couple of differences. Right, oh, an Ax missing lever skip there. Want to hit the lever through the floor like that, and then come over. He got, well, not lucky, he knows the backup for if you do miss it, so really nice for him to be able to get through there without getting hit again. He is on 4 health, coming into the Watcher Knights. Pest getting it first shot and getting through without any damage, and not spending 18 seconds in the dark room, which is what we like to see. And now coming out to the Watch Night fight, we'll be seeing not a ton of these bounces, and when they roll away like that, you can get 2 or 3 hit fireballs, which is what you want to see. So rolls are good when you have enough soul to fireball, otherwise they kind of suck. And they're going to be trying to getting them stacked on top of each other so that you can hit them both at once, and your fireball is hitting both. And it's also just a lot safer. And yeah, you get situations like that where you're getting 2 hits of soul from every swing just because they're stacked up, so you're hitting both. They're both taking a lot of damage for this early on, but hopefully they can finish it out, no worries. It might just mean that they have to play a little bit more carefully on the last 2. Right, looks like they've both kind of found their footing. Ax on 2 health, so really a pretty safe Watch Knights, and Pest just wrapping up. Right, and Pest done too. Nice to see them make it past that sort of hurdle without any huge hiccups. Still a slight lead to Ax, but again, nothing massive, but it is, definitely all adds up. And so apparently it's about 10 seconds difference now, so not huge, but definitely not nothing by any means. 11 seconds. Now we're coming up to a section that, well, a half of the run that this is more Pest territory, so fingers crossed we can see nice close race. So we're now going to be selling the relics at Lem, and then that way we should have enough Geo. Like I said, 2,322 is about what we're looking for. And not too long after this, once they've grabbed Lantern, they'll be going to Crystal Peaks, which is where the coolest runner, of course, is decided based on how many of the tricks they go for and get. but it is pretty consistent time-wise. Just it's really movement-heavy, but very optimizable. There's a lot of like laser cycles and stuff that sort of prevent you from going too fast or too slow. So as long as you hit that cycle, you're all going to be within a fairly similar time window of each other. And hello Lem, the obligatory mashing portion of the run, which is just getting through his dialogue. And Ax is fine for Geo. I think Pest will be too short. But, I mean, I'm sure he'll just fireball an enemy and get that easy. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, too short. So I'm sure he'll, like say, just fireball an enemy on your way out of the city. Wasn't paying attention there, but I'm not sure if Ax got the, depending on who you ask, either free or literally impossible King Station jump. Pest did get it, so both of these players are obviously in the it's free camp. Ax, unfortunately, isn't able to kill himself on the spikes there to save 0.2 seconds because he is not a huge fan of fun. That's something that was discovered by him and then banned recently. Or at least the timing was changed. I'm assuming I was just wrong about geo counts and that it's not 23, 22. I trust Pest to know values a lot more than I do. I mean, it's really just the toll and then the devouts, but I'm sure 2Geo he'll be able to find that anywhere if he needs it. Coming up to the infected statue room, and Ax makes it through no problems. It's a real potential to just get hit there, especially with bad spawns. And shout out Scurry on the toll. And Pest making it through as well, which is what you want to see, a good start to the split from both. And the difference is still about 10 seconds. And going up to Ax is not going for Shade Skip. Not Shade Skip, Pogax, sorry. Oh, Pest also not going for it. I guess both runners knowing how much is at stake in this race, their position in the tournament, and both being extremely good runners, so I think they're probably looking for every second they can find. And Pest missing God Pixel there. And now we're coming up to the final room, which is really on a cycle. Ax on 2 health, so you take 1 intentional damage here, and Timothy Fireball, which is a nice little time save there. So as long as he doesn't get hit, he'll be fine. If he does, it's basically like 3 minutes lost, GG. But no problems from Ax's side going under the platform, which is just a nice little time save of bugger all, but it looks cool, which is why we do it at the end of the day. Pest getting through as well, no problems. And yeah, it's about 30 seconds from languages, just because it all adds up, unfortunately, because not only is it shorter, obviously, but it also lets you mash through it faster for absolutely no reason. And now this Gruzzer drop, the infected one, is also pretty RNG heavy, but Ax making it through no problems, messing up his inventory drop for a quick second there, but nothing huge. And now we're going to do a little acid skip here. It's much more lenient than the one we'll see later on in the run, but it just lets us get to Fog Canyon and Umu faster. And then we've got a nice little menu drop down this room, Ax making it look easy, which is about what you'd expect from this sort of tier runner. And Pest is about a room behind him. But their in-game timer, their loadless timers are about identical, so it gives you a pretty good idea of where they're at relative to each other. And yeah, coming up to Umu now, this is hugely RNG dependent, and you want to be getting a 2-cycle, but you also don't want to be getting extra attacks or slow attacks, which is basically all RNG dependent. So this is where there's huge potential for time loss unless your name's time sync. And it's about 8 seconds difference going into Umu. And Ax coming up to the first damage rotation now. He didn't get extra attack, which is really nice to see. And he did get the damage cycle, so a 2-cycle still on the table for him. And Pest is just coming up to the damage rotation now. And he got it as well, which is great. And Ax coming up to the second damage rotation and not getting it. I'm not sure whether the miss was before, like first or second cycle, but you will be getting a 3-cycle. Pest getting the 2-cycle, okay, so that's probably made up the difference. In fact, he's in the lead by about 7 seconds. So, like I said, Umu is just a huge potential for time change, like lead changes. And yeah, quoting Ax, Umu is a fair and well-designed boss, which is a sentiment shared by everyone. And the estimated time for this run is probably, well, it's about 34 minutes loadless, but probably about 43 with with Pest's computer. So probably another 20 minutes, 12, 15 minutes. And leaving Teacher's Archives, it's basically what we saw going in, but backwards. Shocker. Oh, Pest getting hit there by the exploding guy, which takes 2 damage. Uma, I think they're called. And we're coming up to QGA, which is... Oh, they're both on 3 health leaving Archives, which is definitely not what you want to see. Coming up to QGA, this is probably the hardest trick in the game, but hopefully they get it within 1 or 2 shots. Pest dunking once, and getting across fine, and then Ax, just trying to get the right height, but getting across without taking any damage, which is nice to see. You want to be on full soul and 4 masks going into Beast Den. Just that gives you plenty of health to work with and enough soul to kill the first about with 1 damage tank, and the second one, well, the first one with 1 damage tank and the fastest way possible, and then you can get enough soul to kill the second one with 1 damage tank the fastest way possible. And nice Mantis Arena from Pest there, and Ax getting it too, which is good to see. Sometimes they can just fly in a weird direction, and if you miss the timing, it's just not good. Trying to clean it up. And you're right, Zero. Really close race for someone who's not even got a 23 2x obligatory no vid no did. And I don't know what Pest's doing. He's on 2 health going into Den. Surely is going to heal at least once, because there's 2 damage tanks in there optimally. Each one doesn't lose that much time if you don't do it. Ax messing up a menu drop, but it also is just a mean section, so this really is not opt. There we go. So Pest taking 1 heal, which is definitely what you want to see. I assume he'll get some soul back up there or on the Weaver here. Yep. So he's in an alright position now. Probably 1 less health than you want to have, like Ax does, but definitely doable. Hopefully he doesn't mess it up. He's been having some trouble with late game finishing runs, but that's more finishing runs on world record pace, so he should be fine. Pest not doing the music glitch. Good thing we're on Ax's audio still. I was going to switch it over, but now you will get to hear the music glitch, which is objectively better. So now we're coming up to the final boss of the game, the Hollow Knight. Shocker. There's definitely potential for this to go either way, especially with one of them getting bad luck with parries or missing screen skip. Hopefully Ax's Hollow Knight fight goes a bit better than the one he did in warm-up. Neither of these players, both of these players having a much faster beast end than Homothety did in his last race for some reason. I'm not even sure what that's about, but I guess they're just that much better, or at least Pest is Ax. And a nice relaxing cutscene before the final fight. Again, it's super close. This really can go any way, even just based on luck, but more importantly, execution. And I'll see if we can get a timer sync just before the fight. Right, and so far the fight seems to be going well, and the timer syncs just come through on Ax's side, so they should be nice and synced up for when we do get through. There we go, so they're basically perfectly synced now. And Pest on 4 health, Ax on 5, but it's a lot more about how much damage they're getting out. Ax went for a scream skip there but missed it. But this isn't the important one, that's the final scream. It saves a good chunk. Alright, and Ax got scream skip, Pest missed it, but he still has a lead. There we go, and he's done. Right, so Pest just getting that one by about 4 seconds. GG to both runners, that was really good. Both of them getting, I don't want to jinx it, it might be Pest in the 30th, not quite. Yeah, but both getting extremely low 34s. It's times they can definitely be happy with. Like I say, GG to both. Congrats to Pest. He'll be facing the winner of Hamothi and Trinomi, and Ax is unfortunately out of the tournament much earlier than he would have been hoping for. And we'll see if we can get them in here for an interview. So the final time came out to 34.02 for Pest and 34.08 for Ax. So 6 seconds, like I say, that's super tight. And basically came down to both getting extremely low 34s. All the difference, Ax obviously having the lead up until then and then couldn't make it back. Even something like missing Queen's Garden acid skip once would have made the difference. One sec while I figure out how to send an invite for the interview, and then we'll have Pest and Ax both in here. Hey, congrats on the win.
Hey.
3402. Hey. Yeah, congrats to both of you. Good job, Pest. Really unfortunate, Ax. So, yeah, really unfortunate. Out probably a lot earlier than you expected. And 3408's definitely not a time to be ashamed of. So what'd you both think of the race and how you performed?
I mean, yeah, GG's to Pest, and overall, I think I played pretty well, but it's just unfortunate that Umu was the deciding factor here. And also the fact that I like dunked after Umu, that probably didn't help either, but...
That definitely doesn't help. Yeah, Umu's just such a big roadblock that is like plus or minus 20 seconds at minimum, and is very inconsistent. He sucks. He sucks.
Yeah, that's definitely
early
the
game is hard.
takeaway.
That's all I can say. Early game is impossible. Who needs to hit tracks?
Speaking of impossible, so I was having a good computer, but second go over, you both got better. Well, Ax got much better boulder spit luck, which was nice.
Yeah, I've not had that error before ever. Not on this. Not on like anything unmodded. I've had it randomly happen with debug mod, and I've had the game randomly alt F4, but I have not had that message before. That one was new. I haven't had that one yet.
So did your game just crash, or did you get an infinite load, or what?
It wasn't an infinite load because I got the error report and the game started to like gray out and then do the spinny wheel where the cursor is, but it felt like an infinite load because it just like I kept the music going, so maybe that was an infinite load. I don't know. I've never had an infinite load either, so maybe I have now. It was very weird. I just jumped through a transition and I was like, this transition's taking longer than normal. Oh, my game isn't responding anymore. Incredible.
Well, yeah, I can't say I'm too mad about that because I missed like 10 geo from the big Moss Knight and also the 5th Sit Boulder, so I was not doing well in that run at all.
It's less than ideal. I don't know. I then followed it up by missing VK, the VK kill. That was pretty cool. Haven't done that one in a while. I swear my game just did not want to respond for a while after I restarted my computer. I think I just got used to it, or maybe it was nerves or something, because I started playing okay to mid-late game, but oh my god, that early game was doo-doo.
Right.
You definitely had us worried with the King's Pass taking 2 damage.
Wait, what?
I don't want to talk about that one. The Mosquito's an asshole. Mosquito was really rude, and he wasn't doing what I thought he would, and then I got tilted, and then I took the damage.
And missing the lever the first time as well, that definitely could have gone a lot worse than it did.
There was a lot of tilt in the early game. This is all I can say.
Which lever?
You know, the Mantis Pogo lever that you have to open? I missed that and went to go do the Mantis Pogo, and I was like, I didn't actually hit that, did I? So I ran back to that one real quick. That one was... That was when I knew that it was me, not the game. Then I was just like, what am I doing?
I've been there. That can happen surprisingly easily with the new setup where you immediately dash to the right.
Yeah, it's... You know, I hadn't had it happen before, but I can see why it'd be easy to do.
Yeah, it is very easy to have happen.
Yeah, it was basically after that and the Gruz cleanup of champions that I was just like, okay, we're just not going to do anything, and I just put on music on my phone, because I normally just listen to music during runs, but I can't do that because, you know.
Yeah.
And that helped a lot, so that was good. And then
that's good.
I autopiloted.
You had us worried going into Beast, and you're on 2 health right until the end there. Going into it, and we thought you were going to try to do a 2 health Beast end, which we probably were questioning a little bit.
I was planning on healing once more, like right before the last breakable floor to get into Beast Den, like right before where a spider spawns where you can get more soul, but then he spawned like a year early. So I was just like, okay, I guess I'm going in with 3 HP. So I just kind of felt confident because I've done dumb amounts of Hera practice for like the past month, basically. Just because that's all that speedruns tend to be for me anymore. You reset until you get a good early game, and then you just practice the hell out of late game because you get like 1 good run a month. So, if I can just not think I can play Hera pretty consistently, at a decent level, so I wasn't super worried. But yeah.
And you don't watch the stream, do you? So you didn't even know your lead or how close it was.
I watched it a little bit in the beginning, and then I started to get tilted, so I just turned it off immediately, and I was like, okay, no, let's just gonna listen to music. I tried it this race because I was like, after the reset, I was like, what the hell is going on? Because I heard Ax say 5th spitbalder, and I was like, all right, this I gotta start seeing, and then that was a mistake. I learned real quick.
Yeah, fair enough. I just usually have the chat open so I can see like if like one person dies, then I can like see that from the chats.
Yeah.
So I
fair.
know to not play too risky, for example. I
fair.
don't like having the actual stream going. That's too distracting.
That's fair. That's fair. Oh wait, Ax, you didn't knock me out, so I can't play Celeste now. You've done this to me. How?
Whoops. How could this
no.
happen?
Bought my time, so I must come back to Hollow Knight. I believe in you.
I've been pretty much burned out on any person for like the last month. Like
I do not blame you one
The
bit,
first time I
man.
played this game since my match against Firebone was yesterday. So yeah.
I definitely feel that. You should go play some The Messenger or Baba Is You. Just
Oh, Baba just gets me more tilted, dude.
Oh, does it really?
Gets
I've heard so much good stuff about it.
fucking
I thought it'd be a
dude.
game that you like. I'm sorry.
No, I can usually do like a couple levels right, but then it just
Yeah. But I guess that's all I really gotta say about it. Carried by late Ax2u.
Ax losing to both world record holders, which
yeah, that was kind
I'm
of
so sorry about that. I feel really bad for laughing, but it's amazing coincidence.
Yeah, like last time it was Fireborn who had the world record at the time, and now Pest has taken it in the meantime, and now I'm against Pest, so
It was just like, oh no.
I just got double teamed by 2 world record holders. I mean, what can I
really
do?
be like that.
Yeah, it's not every day you lose to the world record holder both times and still come equal 5th.
This is true.
Yeah. But yeah, is that all?
That's all I got.
Yeah, I think so. Again, really well played to both you. GG Pest. Unfortunate Ax, but yeah, good luck for the rest of the tournament. You will be against the winner of Trinomi and Hermothety. We don't know when the next race will be, so stay tuned. And yeah, we'll see you whenever that is.
Yeah, GG. Thanks for the commentary.
Yeah, GG Ax.